My name is Joshua, and I'm the Tribune. As builders and generals working for God, it's very important to know a certain side of his character, which is that he is very focused on the greater mission. There are certain things that he will accept that are not perfect because his mission needs to go through. This is extremely important because we have to have the same mentality in our lives, because through the preparation of working with God and him preparing things with you and building a relationship with you and a friendship, he is going to expect you to overlook certain things in your situation that are not perfect. Things that you are not pleased about or angry about, or I don't like this, or I have an opinion about that. No, all that matters is that the mission that he's concerned about at that moment is completed. I can prove that he's like this. The fact that he is actually going to be working with you and me shows that he does not expect every single thing to be perfect in order to complete his mission. Now, that doesn't mean to be reckless. I'm not saying this so that people can go be reckless and say, well, I'm not perfect, I can do whatever I want and the mission still go through. No, it will not go through like that at all. You're going to be very, very, very disappointed. What I'm saying is you need to take this principle and expect that God will not fix certain things when you want them fixed, because he's going to be so focused on using those things to propel his mission and his preparation with you. Because there's certain moments where all that matters is that the strategy is carried out. So if you start thinking like this, it will free you, because there's certain things you just won't care about, because you're always going to be looking at the greater good. You're always going to be thinking about the greater good. Now, when I say greater good, do not think about something that you didn't talk to God about, because that will not be the greater good. In fact, if we take our own versions of the greater good and start applying this principle and saying, well, I'm just going to keep the greater good in mind, well, that thing is going to come and be thrown in the fire, and then you'll be crumbled, because the thing you were so focused on as being the greater good is not the greater good. So in order to find what the greater good is in your life and his agenda, it's important to talk to him about it. It's important to take time, spend with him, not to rush into being creative and doing this and doing that, and I got to find this certain kind of success. That's not what we have to do. We have to spend time marinating on what God is speaking to us about. And that will be your direction towards the greater good, and that will give you revelation on that. Then from there, when you have revelation on what God is saying is your greater good, then you compare it to every single thing that comes. You can even start comparing it to yourself. You compare it to your character. With this greater good, does this side of my character fit with this, or does it need to be thrown in the fire? That's a good question. Because he will talk to you like this. He will ask certain things of you after he explains to you what the greater good is, and before he explains it to you, that you're going to have to make moves and make decisions based on that knowledge. Now, before he tells you about the greater good, he expects you to have faith. So how you find the greater good and how he decides, I want to give insight to you now, it's because he already knows that you have faith and that you've stepped out without knowing everything and been obedient to lead you to the point that he says, that's my friend. She didn't even have to understand everything, and she was partnering with me in the greater good, making decisions in these areas before she even knew. That's my friend, and now I'm going to tell her. Then from there on out, he will continue to do as he did before. Have you make decisions based off of that revelation. So in my other videos, I'm talking about a lot of difficult things, like letting God choose your people, letting him prioritize your energy, teaching you how to strategize with 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 what you want to spend your time doing. Every single piece of anything I've ever talked about includes this principle, because you're doing it for the greater good. Now, the first thing you need to understand about his greater good for you is that he wants to transform you into as close as you can get to Christ. He wants that to be what you're striving towards, to be transformed, so that you can be a shining light in the world for him. Not for you, for him. So, if you understand this, that is a base that you can build on that will show you his character and show you what kind of missions he likes and what his end goal is, which is salvation for the people. That's what his end goal is. So, he's not going to ask you to do things that are against his principles for the greater good. Let me just say that right now, because that would be against his principles. He will ask you to do things that still align with keeping you clean. This is what is the power of working with him. Because if you know his greater good and you understand his principles and you're getting to be his friend, that means that as you press towards the greater good, anytime you come off track, he will come and let you know and put you right back on, and you will still be going towards the greater good. People who don't think like this are shooting for a greater good, but they're going in the wrong direction. They're going down. Even if they look like they're going up, they're actually going down. And they need to see that. And this is one of the reasons why I'm saying this message. This is why I'm talking about this. Because I want to help people start going up. It's really important. So, if we understand this about God, then it will make the process a lot easier for us. Because when he starts making decisions that are a little difficult, what will soothe you and say, oh my goodness, this is the best thing for me, will be you're keeping in mind, first, your faith. Second, you learn his character of loving you so much, his strategic character, his omnipresent, everywhere, all power character, and then your mission aligning with that. That is what will help you, and this is the greater good. Now, I'm speaking in generalities right now because each person is going to have their different version of this. So my job is to just give you the outline, give you principles, so you can now go in your private time with God and talk to him about this, and he will actually put your tailored mission into these places. Tailored. We're not looking for cookie cutter things. He's not a cookie cutter God. So you should be seeking these principles for yourself. In one of my next videos, we're going to be talking about how to actually seek these things for yourself, for your own self. You have to know how to do this. But before you know how to actually carry it out practically, you have to know that it exists. And that's why I'm explaining to you that it exists, that he does have a greater good for you that fits in a system that will help you make great decisions even when people don't agree with it. That's what we're asking for. That's what he wants. This is what makes it easier for you. And in fact, the faith part of this, when you don't understand your greater good, this greater mission, and even when you don't even know his character, you're not his friend yet, the faith side, it gives you clues to what that is. You can actually tell with the decisions he makes for you and that he leads you to make. And the way he guides you, you can tell what you can compare it to what he's taking you to. They're clues. This is what we need to keep in mind. Making decisions off the greater good. We have to overlook certain things that are flawed. And I'm not saying you need to have an excuse to be carnal and sinful. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about overlooking preferences. That's what I'm talking about. Any preferences that you have that he doesn't care about, that are actually low level, and you don't even know what you really desire, those things need to be overlooked because he's going to give you your real preference, your real desire will come out of getting to know God and working with him. Study this outline, and you will be freed in many areas. Hail Jehovah.